Hi, today we will first start with bond indentures and covenants. Bond indentures. The features of fixed income securities discussed in the previous lesson are detailed in a legal contract that outlines the structure of the bond, the issuer's responsibilities, and the bondholder's right. Basically, a bond indenture is just a legal contract. Because bondholders are not stockholders, they do not have voting rights. So in general, bondholders have lesser influence. But an exception is a bond covenant, which is legally enforceable rules agreed upon by borrowers and lenders at the time of issuance. So these covenants are agreements or promises that are made by the company to promise that they will do certain things or not do certain things. When they do certain things, it will be affirmative covenants. And if they do not do certain things, there will be a negative covenant, which we will see in the next slide. Affirmative covenants are usually administrative. Common examples include specifying the use of proceeds from the bonds issue. So this restrict what you can use the money that you borrow from the bond to do, and that you need to provide timely financial reports. So this ensures that even though the bondholders do not actually partake in any appreciation in the stock price, but this ensures that the company is doing their due diligence and making sure that they would they are doing the right things and they will not default on the bond payments, and allowing bondholders to redeem their bonds at a premium if the issuer is acquired. So this is another provision in the case such that if the issuer is acquired by another company, then the bondholders are able to redeem their bonds at the par value or a premium, which is more expensive, more higher than the par value. Negative covenants in loan agreements restrict borrowers from taking certain actions without the lender's approval. So this safeguard the lender's interests. Examples include limitation on additional debt, divided payments, asset sales, changes in control, investments, and requirements to maintain financial ratios and collateral. So this limitation is to prevent the company from taking additional leverage risks that might affect the credit risk of the company, and also dividend payments. So these are maybe the fact that you need to keep more cash in the company just in case of any liquidity issue, cash flow issue. So this dividend payments limitation will address that. Asset sales and changes control, etc. These are financial ratios. These are all talking about just making sure that you are not taking excessive risk. These covenants aim to maintain the borrower's financial stability, ensure debt repayment. So debt repayment is the key part for bondholders, and protect the lenders from risks associated with excessive leveraging, asset depletion. So this is the part about the limitation on asset sales or management changes. So this is the part that because when you first lend the issuer by purchasing the bonds, this is based on how you view the management at that time. So if there are any management changes after that, that will affect the running or the credit risk of the company, which would then affect the bond holders in the case of eventual default. So this is the reason why we have such covenants. An example of a bond covenant for this fictitious company is that okay, so we will go through one by one. The use of the proceeds is for general corporate purposes. So this is the part that says that, okay, what you can use for the money that you borrow for is only for general corporate purposes. So you cannot use it for anything else. Okay, this seniority is basically what we talked about before, but this is not really relevant to the part on the covenants. Limitation on liens. Okay, so this is the part that it restricts the ability of the issuer to pledge some of the assets as security for other debt. So once you pledge your assets as collateral for this particular bond, you cannot use it to pledge it for other debt. That's basically what it's saying. And also the indenture, which is the legal contract, prohibits the issuer from selling or leasing the any plans for a term of X number of years. So this is a limitation on sales and leasebacks. As you can see, for covenants, it covers is potentially able to cover a wide range of different scenarios. What happens if the company breaks the covenants? This would trigger various consequences depending on the severity of the breach and the terms as outlined in the bond indenture. A serious covenant violation can constitute an event of default, thereby allowing bondholders to demand immediate repayment of the outstanding principal and accrued interest. This is major consequences which might actually result in a liquidity crisis for the company. You can imagine that the bondholders only care about getting their money, principal and interest back. You will have a reinvestment risk, but this is better than not getting the money back at all, right? This might result in the company going bankrupt. But from a bondholder perspective, they don't really care because they are not a stockholder. So this would cause the company to be very careful in terms of not violating the covenant, because they might actually go into bankruptcy. Another one is the acceleration of debt. So the bondholders have the right to accelerate the repayment schedule. That means you're actually paying, it's like amortizing debt that we will talk about. Then you repay some of the principal back with the principal, or you will just have to repay everything, which is the same as the part that is the default, as we outlined earlier. Higher interest rates. So this is quite evident that, okay, if you breach your covenant, then we're going to increase your interest rate.